Hey, good morning, afternoon, evening. Whenever this pops up on your scroll. We are the Monday Movie Club. This week, we watched one of Mark's selections. You can see right there. You need to move a little to there you go.
Yeah.
And
You had no idea who he was a second ago, right?
exactly. It's Terminator 2 Judgment Day on its 31st anniversary. And in the movie, August 29th, 1997 is Judgment Day. So it's the 25th anniversary of that. How exciting. I'm Frank Gaffney. Here with me is Natasha Fenster. Oh, wait.
Yeah, I didn't change my name.
Oh, it's Joel. Mark Wotitz Gardner, or Mark G as he wants to be known. Annie King in the purple room, back in the purple room. Amy Goldman, just where she normally is. Have you ever done a remote?
Yes, from
At Joel's house.
from Nan, when you were at Nan.
Oh yeah, Nan. Yeah. Mark, have you been remote?
Yeah, you were outside once somewhere.
Just
on the
in my backyard on the
You were
deck.
drunk on the porch. Yes, I remember that. And Amy did a drunk episode too. So Joel, it's your turn next.
I've been in the kitchen a couple of times.
I can't believe it's not Joel. No, you need to be drunk, is what I'm saying.
Oh, drunk. Oh,
yes. Okay, here we go. So Mark, YT2.
In my opinion, because this is the best sci-fi movie ever made, in my opinion.
Wow.
Because I consider Star Wars a fantasy, not sci-fi. If you consider
see.
Star Wars,
so
I would take Star Wars over this. But to me, this is James Cameron's and Arnold Schwarzenegger's best stuff they've ever done.
Okay. Annie King, did you watch both of them? You threatened you would.
I did. I watched Terminator and then Terminator 2.
How interesting. Okay. So HBO Max has the theatrical version, not the 16-minute longer special edition that was released in 1993. But I read somewhere that James Cameron actually prefers a shorter version.
well, that's why there is no director's cut. It's labeled
right. It's just a longer.
And there's actually a third version of the film that's the extended version that runs like a minute and a half longer than that.
Ooh.
Yeah,
exactly. If I could extend things by a minute and a half, I'd be a god. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so to begin, in the last scene of Terminator 1, Annie, you might remember this, the computer chips necessary to invent Terminators are all destroyed, so there wouldn't be any more Terminators. So how come they exist in the second place? Did I miss that explanation?
No, I think they crushed him, but the arm was still there.
So they replicated it from the arm.
And the one chip.
They showed it. That's what they had in the lock and key was the arm, the crushed arm, and the crushed chip.
The crushed chip.
But neither of them looked crushed, were they?
The chip was definitely crushed, but he said it took us in different directions. Even though it wasn't working, it gave them ideas.
I get ideas.
I get ideas. Okay, well, so Terminator 2 certainly pushed the limits of what they could accomplish in CGI, kind of like the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. So it definitely gets points for that. But if the T-1000 can mimic any person or form that it touches, then there's no logical reason why he keeps reverting to being the cop. He could be anything, anybody, and then they wouldn't recognize him.
That's one of the many goofs in IMDb. Like, why does he keep doing that?
And Arnold says he can only become something of an equal size. So how does he become the whole floor? Ridiculous. Okay.
He doesn't become the whole floor. He becomes a section of the floor.
Meh. And Sarah's narration is terrible and it's annoying.
Yeah.
And Edward Furlong is a terrible actor. And the bit with the gas mask, okay, so she puts it on him. Well, first of all, his lungs are smaller than hers, so he doesn't need the gas mask as much. And why isn't she passing out from the gas?
She's holding her breath. You could now. I totally blocked that because when you're scuba diving, you can actually do that underwater. You could give the respirator.
And she's obviously a trained scuba diver because she was running guns from Nicaragua for a few years.
Oh, of course, of course.
But like on an airplane, you have to do yours first before someone else's.
Yeah, but she went a very long time without masking herself.
Well, yeah.
And why does Okay, why does the T-1000 want to force Sarah to call John when he can imitate her voice?
Another plot hole in IMDb.
Right. Okay. So it also loses points for making John Connor a wisecracking hoodlum who helps to save the day. Yay. And for being overly calculated. I mean, this they should retitle it Terminator 2 Coincidence Day. Because everything in the movie is a coincidence. Oh, look, we just happened to drive into this nitrogen factory. Okay, what?
Hold on. I even said that as much as I love the movie, when Arnold is driving the streets on his motorcycle first and just happened to peek down the street and there's John Connor.
Oh, yeah. Well, you didn't see the 1.5 minute longer version. That was just him driving around looking for him.
For like 20 hours, yeah.
And then I even remember being annoyed at the time because Terminator 1 was so violent and everybody was, oh, there's too much violence in the movie. So he capitulated and said, all right, so we'll make him not kill people in this one. But he does. I mean, there's like 67 dead people. And then, and points off for Cameron for stealing from himself and turning Sarah Connor into Ripley. Believe it or not.
Better to steal from himself than Harlan Ellison in the first film. So,
okay. So, but on the plus side, I'm on the plus side. The Terminator 2 is one glorious set piece after another. It really is. It's a great thrill ride that ends up being better than the original for sure. But the win really is only style over substance or script cohesion. James Cameron thinks he's a better director than he really is. And I will you could fight me on this, but he has never made a truly great movie, including this one. Truly great, I mean 4-star movie that has no flaws in it.
The second half of Titanic is 4 stars.
Okay, but still, this one gets 3.5 stars from me.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I really do enjoy it. I love it. It's stupid, but I really do love it. So, Annie, you saw both versions. Now, what do you think?
This one was definitely better. The first one was just, gratuitous killing. I love how he comes back as the good guy. So it must have made so much money that they're like, we want to do it again. And he's like, but only if I could be the good guy this time.
No, and I totally remember we didn't know that going into this movie. We thought he was.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, no, we thought he was still the bad guy. And then he shows up and you're like, oh my God. And then he's like, no, I'm here to save you.
Yeah, so it must, I mean, did they think of I get that it's from a book, comics, or, right? Or is it from?
No, this is from James Cameron. Well, as Joel said, there was some thievery involved, but this like when he made Terminator, that was the first time you saw or heard of a Terminator, I believe.
I think all science fiction has thievery involved.
Cameron was inspired by a few things, and then basically got sued by Harlan Ellison, and the studio settled with Ellison, much to James Cameron's chagrin. They're like, no, I didn't steal this. You should not settle with him. And the studio was like, fine, if we go to court and he wins, it's coming out of your salary. And he's like, fine.
Yeah, because James Cameron is such an arrogant ass.
Yes, but unlike Michael Bay, he's a talented arrogant ass.
I honestly...
He's more talented than Michael Bay. You have to admit that.
But he really needs to get somebody else to write the scripts. Good Lord.
It reminds me of what's his nuts, George Lucas. They think they're such better writers and everything than they really are. They make good stuff, but they need help.
I'm totally dreading Avatar 2.
Oh, I've never seen Avatar.
Oh, I loved Avatar.
Yeah, I like Avatar.
We saw it in the movie in 3D. It was amazing.
It was
Avatar ride at Disney is the greatest ride I've ever been on in my life.
Why Avatar was better when it was directed by Kevin Costner.
Ooh.
I agree with that.
Wait a minute. Have you been on the new Star Wars ride?
No. Well, no, and we're not going.
You're going to change your tune.
We're not going there, and when we go in October, we're not going to go to Rise. It's too much of a pain in the ass, I heard. You got to wait around all day. You may not even get on.
No, it's only 2 hours. It's only a 2-hour wait. All right, Annie, back to you.
Yes. So my question, like as always with time travel, how does he, send the person back to father the
Yeah. Oh
son.
no,
And,
that's all that
uh,
every time travel movie, I'm like, just send it back again, send it back again, send it back in. You
Didn't you
have to
guys watch Endgame?
yeah.
They
right.
explain it
The
there.
things that are meant to be on
Doctor Who sums it up best. It's just wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff, and you just move on.
Just
Yeah.
move on. Yes.
Remember
exactly.
when we first started the Marvel thing and everybody said it's a comic book. You have to accept it.
Yes. So,
They tell Jack Nicholson, it's
right.
Chinese.
Time travel is just something you
Just,
just have to say, okay.
all right, fine.
I
That's how
remember
it works.
seeing this movie in the theater, and I was like, "Oh my God, I want to be Linda Hamilton." Those arms, and I was just like, but I could never do a pull up. So I was after a week, I was like, okay, forget it.
Annie, fun trivia is that she only started that after Terminator 1 because she was inspired by Arnold. Working with Arnold, she started working out and got like super
Yeah.
obsessed with it.
Yeah,
I remember it was such a big deal when it came out too. Like, oh my God, look what Linda Hamilton did, because women didn't really do that 31 years ago as much as now.
yeah. 'Cause I was like,
She was-
wow, I want.
She was jacked.
Yeah.
Well, that didn't work for me. So, and I also picked up on the call to John when you could have just taken her whole body and done it, which he does later
But you
on.
guys, but he does do that too.
Yes, later on he does that, but like,
So basically, he just
I know.
wanted to torture her.
yeah. And then I guess there's like 4 more movies to watch. Any of them worth it or?
Dark Fate, the latest one James Cameron came back for. It was better than the previous versions, but some of them were pretty. I never even watched the Christian Bale one. The rest were.
They're if you want to watch more good Terminator after this, skip the movies and jump into the TV series, the Sarah Connor Chronicles. That's a
Oh,
better
right.
sequel to this thing.
Sarah Connor Chronicles?
Sarah, blah, 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 blah.
Sarah Connor Chronicles?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I remember watching that. Was fun.
Yeah, and I thought the special effects were amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were really great. So it's a 3.5 for me. It was a great movie to watch. So, and especially watching it right after the first one, this one was so much better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you didn't get to see Arnold's junk in the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what'd you think?
I didn't, I saw both of them in the theater, and instead of watching the first one, knowing that it wasn't that good, I just read the really detailed plot synopsis that somebody wrote on IMDb. So I was like, okay, I know everything. So that worked out great.
You said, wait a minute. I object to saying the first movie was not so great. I thought it was pretty good.
In my memory, I just
All right.
remember we were all so enamored with the second one that the first one went downhill.
Right.
I guess if I watched Annie, what did you think? How many stars would you give the first one?
3 stars.
3 stars because after watching the second, now maybe it would have been different if I just watched the first and not the second, but
Yeah.
you could obviously tell the second one was so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the first one was good. It was different. It was,
Well,
exciting.
obviously they had more money and more special effects.
Yeah.
And I love how like she reloads the gun one hand. I love that. By the way.
Oh, and Arnold does it on the bike. It's brilliant. But of course, then in the goofs, it says there's no way that gun could have done that. There were so many goofs. They were a lot of fun. It was funny that the movie it seemed a little bit long to me at times because it was nothing but like French Connection car chases, nonstop car chases where cars are flying off of these really and crashing down. And then a whole truck can just keep on going. But they did such a great job with all the chases. They were so well filmed. It just amazed me. And then when things were blowing up, the effects were beautiful. And of course, I remember the melting water and the steel and all that was such a big deal. But after a while, and I was thinking yesterday, it's like, look how many times we can shoot him and have these big, huge silver plates glued to his costume. It was getting to be too much, especially when his whole face split open. It's like, calm down with that. But it was nice. I thought the hairstyle, whoever did the hair, I wanted to hit this person. Like the first time we see Linda Hamilton, she's all sweating and her hair is like this. And then we see Edward Furlong and his hair is like this. And then
it's a gritty movie.
It was killing me.
Gritty.
I mean, that was just silly. I thought the script was terrible for the most part, and whenever Sarah did her voiceovers, it was so bad. Her acting was so bad. It was so bad. But then she was okay. And I thought the sound effects, the sound, the looping of the dialogue. There was one guy who was coming in to look. It was either Dyson or he was looking for Dyson, and he yelled out two full lines, and his mouth never moved. And there were so many instances where so that is not what that person just said. And then I thought, why is like every other line from Edward Furlong dubbed in? Is he that bad an actor? And then I read that it took 9 months to film this thing, and he went through puberty, and his voice completely changed. So they had to keep dubbing him, and he got so tall they had to put him in a hole at one point because he was huge. So that was a lot of fun. But those are just the little silly trivia things I read, and I really liked it. I'm going to give it 3.25 stars. That's all.
Yeah, I didn't notice it this time, but I remember reading that just what you said about him too. That there's a scene toward the end of the movie where he looks noticeably, he looks at least like 2 years younger than he was at the beginning of the movie. And I didn't notice. I think it was when they go to see the couple with all the guns. There.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
I did notice when he was on, I think he was riding a bike, and it was definitely a stunt double. I'm like, this guy doesn't even look close to him. And I don't usually notice that.
When he jumps off on a motorcycle in the tunnel at the beginning chase, they've talked about that for years. That is obviously not Arnold. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no, it was also Furlong I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I kind of rambled there because I really didn't know what the hell I was going to say.
And
I
this
gotta
is
go back to taking notes.
You would
This is
rather
the-
put a
What?
13-year-old kid's
What?
life at stake, so you didn't use a double. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Fuck them
All
kids.
right. All right. Joel, I can't believe it's not Joel.
Yeah. I don't have much to add, quite honestly. It's my intention.
How many times have you seen it?
I've seen it a number of times, but to be honest, I had not seen it in probably a decade.
Okay. Say
My
thank you
intention was to
Mark.
watch what?
Say thank you to Mark.
Oh, thank you, Mark. Fuck you,
Mark.
Mark. My intention was to watch the first one, but the time got away from me this week, so it was just two. I may go back and rewatch one just because I'm inspired. I may go back and watch the rest of them just to torture myself, but
Because you are a completist, and then
I
you're
know.
going to watch the Sarah Connor Chronicles again.
probably, but it's not a completist in senses like this.
Yes.
It's masochist. There's a big difference.
Ah,
It's a great action film. Is it Schwarzenegger's or Cameron's best? Not necessarily, in my opinion. There are other films from both of them that I like a little bit more, but it's definitely
Oh,
up
I
there.
need to know what. Is Titanic better than this movie?
No.
What Cameron movie is
I know the answer.
Yeah, what's the
True,
answer?
you're going to say True Lies.
No, I'd say True Lies is on par with this film. I like The Abyss. The extended director's cut of The Abyss is a really, pun intended, deep film that I really like. I think it's
with terrible
incredible film.
script,
What was that?
with terrible dialogue.
Frank and I saw that at Radio City.
Admittedly,
Oh, I went to see it.
Oh, you did?
it's probably been about 15 years since I've seen The Abyss, because it's one of two Cameron films that is not available on modern day formats. The last video release was a DVD back in the late 90s, I think.
The Abyss?
Yep. That and True Lies do not exist on Blu-ray yet. So,
Frank is looking that up.
Oh my goodness.
um,
Is
And
that
what
Cam-
other Schwarzenegger film do you think is better?
Wait, it's probably Cameron's fault.
it is Cameron's. It's completely Cameron's fault they're not available, because
Yeah.
in
So
his
he can
contracts,
do it.
he has the right to oversee any new transfers of any of his movies, and he's been so busy with his head up the Avatar's ass bullshit for the last 2 decades that he hasn't gotten to it. But
True Lies is not streaming nor available for rent or purchase.
correct,
Wow.
neither is The Abyss. One of them, and I think it's True Lies, I think he did finish overseeing a transfer of it like a year ago. But the Disney Fox thing kind of held that up. Supposedly it's coming out within the next year.
Well, you can watch The Abyss on Stars if you subscribe to that service.
Yeah, but it's going to look like crap.
But
Anyway,
obviously not the extended version.
no.
It's only 2 hours.
Schwarzenegger.
See, he just disagreed to disagree.
Yeah, I might have. I'm in
Yeah.
that mood today. It's
Kindergarten Cop.
the
He's
ear
like, Mark,
Kindergarten Cop.
kindergarten cop.
Shut up!
he just
Um,
wanted to say,
Ratatouille.
he just wanted to say, Mark, you ignorant slut.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna go with the last action hero.
Hmm.
Please don't do that.
Just because.
No, you're so wrong, Joel. Stop
I'm
it.
kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm looking at the list.
Yeah, for Schwarzenegger, actually, it would be True Lies. So Cameron's The Abyss, Schwarzenegger's True Lies. All right. Anyway, but it's close. It's not like, it's not like I'm saying, oh, Terminator 2 is like a 4 on the Schwarzenegger scale, and True Lies is a 10, and Last Action Hero is at a 9.9. It's you're looking at like a
It's negligible.
9.5 and a 9 in this case. So,
Right.
as I said, it's a fun film. I can't argue with anything. Edward Furlong, for some reason I remembered him being better, but holy crap. Linda Hamilton's narration is like, did they just lift Harrison Ford out of Blade Runner and said, here, study this? Because that's terrible. At least Harrison Ford had a reason for being terrible. He didn't want to do it.
Maybe she didn't want to do it.
The effects, the CGI effects with Robert Patrick are great, and the film gets great marks for really giving us Robert Patrick. He hadn't done much before this, and I think it's a very steely performance, but I think he's a great actor. So yes, that's another pun.
Is he though?
I think he is.
I remember reading at the time that he's actually 6'4" to Arnold's 6'2", so they had to put him in a hole a lot of times. So Arnold looked to be big.
There's a lot of holes they were digging on this movie.
Well, think about it this way: every Tom Cruise movie, everybody else in the cast has to be in the hole, or he has to be up on a box.
Yeah.
He's like what, 4'9"?
Are we looking that up?
No, he's not 4'9", but he's not tall.
I think it's 5.
My other complaint is obviously they spent so much money on the CGI that they couldn't
5'7".
like
Ooh.
what?
He's 5'7".
They spent so much money on the CGI, which was brand new at the time, that some of the other effects kind of go by the wayside. Like I'm like those electrical zapping effects towards the end of the film. When I'm like, did they just paint those in with a paintbrush? They look terrible. But
You have to pick your battles, Joel. You're a parent,
well, I know, but you have that much money, you should be able to do that without making it look like crud. But as I said, it's a fun. It's a set piece after set piece. It's action packed. For the most part, it moves. It slows down in one or two spots, but not enough to really kill the film in any stretch by any stretch of the imagination.
Or kill yourself.
I'm surprised that the film is not in the National Film Registry yet. The first one is. I'm sure probably within the next 5 years, this will probably make it in.
How many years till 25 years do you get in the registry?
The movie has to be at least 10 years old.
10 years.
Yeah.
More
And
than
unlike last week's film, which got into the registry exactly 10 years after it was released,
right.
Yeah.
this is not one of those films. It's not even in there yet. So
I love how you put stock in the National Film Registry.
I do. It's important.
Yeah, but it's arbitrary.
It is and it isn't. It depends on the movies. So
What
anyway.
did we watch last week?
Do the right thing.
Oh, right, okay.
Thanks a lot, Annie.
I'm trying to decide, do I agree with
So many.
Frank, or do I agree with Amy, or do I go closer to Mark? It's kind of somewhere in there. I'm going to go with 3.75. Just so there's, I'm not agreeing with Frank, but uh-oh.
He didn't want to talk about it?
All right. Well, to hell with Mark Gardner then.
Wow.
Martin said to hell with you all.
Right?
One
That's
of the-
it. Nobody says it's a 4-star movie. I'm leaving.
Oh, we can do that? I would have done that with Flash Gordon.
What the hell? Did you hit a button?
No, my internet connection just like died.
Wow.
Yeah, that happens. I assume it's optimum, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Hold on. All right, we're
That's
back.
okay, Mark. It happens to every man once in a while. Normal. It's normal.
Nice. Hold on, I'm getting back to.
Doesn't know where he's sitting.
I was gonna go in the other room and hardwire it in, but
Ooh.
now it looks like I'm back.
So did you hear my star rating or no?
Nope.
2.
He said 3.75.
Sure.
3.75 from Jolie. So,
That makes sense.
Mark,
Oh,
this is a 4-star movie, you said.
sorry. Hold on 1 second.
Right. He has to go get his starometer.
I also forgot to mention, I like that line, "Come with me if you want to live," which is the one from the first movie also, when
Oh, is it?
Reese says it to
That's
Sarah
correct.
Connor. And
There's
yeah,
a lot of nice callbacks. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen the first film, but I do remember there being a lot of nice callbacks to it in the sequel. So
Mm.
Doesn't
Yes, and-
Michael Bean show up in one of the movies?
He's in the first movie. He's
No,
John's
after.
father.
No, after.
yeah,
No.
3 or
shows
4 or 5 or something.
no, he shows up in this one in deleted scenes.
Oh, wow. All right, Mark G.
Annie, yeah, I have actually. My friend of mine got me a T-shirt that says "Come with me if you want to lift," and it's a picture
Oh,
of him.
nice.
So I wear it to the gym all the time.
Oh, that's great.
Wow.
So I'll start by saying I've become more critical of watching movies since we started this thing, just like Annie said a few weeks ago. So I found myself being the same thing. You get to like, wow, I've seen this movie 20 times. Why I'm not enjoying it as much anymore? Because I'm like, oh my God, Edward Furlong sucks. And I was picking up on all these little things. But I still just love this movie. I can watch this over and over again. The CGI, I thought it was great at the time, but it definitely you could notice some of it hasn't held up all that well, I would say. But for the time, 2 years before Jurassic Park, it was absolutely fantastic. This movie came out in the summer of '91. We had a friend over from Europe that was staying with us for a week or two, and we're all into rock. And when the Guns N' Roses song "You Could Be Mine," the video came out, we watched that like for a week straight. Hundreds of times we must have watched it. And if you haven't seen it in a while, Arnold Schwarzenegger is in. They have clips of the movie in it, and then at the end he actually shows up. So it was very cute.
Never saw it, not even once.
Well, I'm gonna be. I'll link it, and when you post this tomorrow. Sorry, when you post it today, later on Monday.
It's already been posted, Mark, if people are watching this. Time travel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I said, I've seen it over 20 times easily. We just watched this 2 years ago. So
Does Danielle love it too?
yes, this is her favorite Terminator. I made her watch the first one because she didn't want to. It is, and I don't want to sound sexist or anything, but I do feel like the first movie is more for guys. It's a lot more rugged and just blowing up.
I
And
just have a picture of Danielle strapped to a chair, facing the screen, like you made her watch.
Toothpicks
Like
and
Malcolm
all.
McDowell in the Clockwork.
yeah, yes, exactly. No, she finally, because she's like, I had to ask her a few times, like, nah, I don't want to see it. And then finally she did. And I kind of like what Annie said, like, she didn't hate it, but she didn't love it either. She was like, yeah, it was fine. What's got so it's the movie for me, it's got the acting, the special effects, the humor, the great overall story. For me, I think it worked, and big explosions. So if you throw in some boobs, this movie has Mark written all over it.
All right, no boobs. Sorry, no boobs.
Yeah, I know, no boobs. That's all right. I love that they brought Dr. Selbing back from the first movie too. The guy, her doctor that she hated, that she stabbed in the knee.
Yeah.
He
And
Schwarzenegger are the only actors to appear in all of the first 3 movies.
Oh.
He was in the third?
Yeah, he's in the third.
Okay.
I think that was his last film before he retired.
Okay. Interesting.
It was my last film before I retired. If I was anyway.
Yeah.
Welcome to Mooseport.
Yeah, exactly. I think the only character I actually like in the whole movie is Miles Bennett Dyson too, as well. And you know, Amy, going back to what you said before, I remember reading at the time that the amount of budget that they spent on exploding cars or just cars in general to destroy was something astronomical at the time. Like it was the high, definitely the highest budget for wrecking cars at the time.
Well, they did a
And
great job.
they did. So for me too, it's not 4 stars. It's 3 3/4.
Wow.
Boy, I had to change mine then. I don't want to be
Agreeing with
Just to be
Mark.
difficult.
Hell.
move me down to 3.25. I'll agree with Annie.
Annie
It's
said
me.
3.5. So
Oh, 3.5. I agree with Amy then. No,
thanks for paying attention.
And some more trivia too. I'm sure you guys know the 2 security guards at the hospital were twins. That's how they were able to look at each other.
they were also the only other movie I remember them from. They're in Gremlins 2, the new batch.
Okay, I know I've seen them somewhere else too. That's really it for me.
Who I've seen the doctor who she stabs. Who is he? Because he is very familiar. Is he a big actor in like the 70s and stuff?
He was in the first film and the third film.
Wasn't he in
Exactly.
something else? I definitely know.
I don't
him.
know.
Yeah, hang on. I'll tell you. Hang on.
He seems like one of those 70s character actors where you go, oh, I know that face.
He was in he was on the streets of San Francisco. He was in a lot of TV series in the 70s. Kojak, Hawaii Five-0, Lou Grant, Paper Chase, The Main Event he's in.
Oh, Mr. Grant.
Maybe I know him from Lou Grant, but
He's
I can't
in 9 to
imagine.
5.
Maybe that.
He was
Are we
on,
looking at Earl Bowen?
yeah.
Yeah, he did a lot of TV. He's dead now.
No, he's retired.
He died in 2001.
Earl Bowen?
Oh no, his wife died in 2001. Yeah, so yeah, wait, what was the big one? He was
Terminator.
on Benson. He was on Benson.
That must be it.
Yeah, he was on Benson.
One more bit of trivia. John's foster mom, Jolene, was also Vasquez in Aliens and the
Yes.
Irish mom in Titanic. So James Cameron really does bring over a lot of people.
He has
regularly.
friends.
I'm always shocked at how there are so many actors who actually continue to work with him, as opposed to all the actors who complain about having had
Yeah.
to work with him.
Yeah.
It's got to be a personality. Some actors must love.
Yeah.
He must have a certain style that you either love or hate.
Yeah, I would.
And not for nothing, Jolene ain't doing much these days. So if he asks her, you want to be in
Bald
Titanic,
rock.
she's gonna say, "Fuck yeah."
Good
Yeah,
point, Mark.
that's definitely the case. It's like you know how I cast the same people all the time in my shows. Okay.
Oh, one quick thing. My favorite Schwarzenegger film is actually The Villain. I forgot about that one.
Not killing Gunther.
No, not Killing Gunther. The Villain.
The villain. Never heard of it.
Yeah. I was
That's
gonna-
not your favorite. Shut up.
It, it's a great movie. It's a funny movie. It's a terrible movie, but it's a funny. It's a Western comedy from like '79. He plays the sheriff whose name is Handsome Stranger.
Oh, okay.
That tells you all you need to know.
Yeah.
But it's got a great cast. So anyway,
Sounds like 8 Million Ways to Die in the West.
it's funnier than that.
Anything is funnier than that.
Oh, that wasn't that bad.
Oh my God. Okay. So T2 is available on HBO Max if you subscribe to that service.
For now.
Next Monday. What?
For now, it's not going to be there forever.
Oh,
Somebody's
shit.
watching this in a year. It may not be there.
All right, Mr. Tirade. Next Monday, we'll be watching one of Amy's selections. We're back to Amy again. Amadeus, which was the best picture winner from 1984, but it's not on a streaming service, so you're out of luck. What do I always say? Go to the
Go to
library.
the library.
All right, I'm Frank Gaffney. Watch a movie.
And you know what I forgot to say? Did we not mention all those great taglines from this movie? Hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Well, I guess we'll be back.
We'll be back.
Will we?